guys, my name is Nikki, aka the Dragon Queen, and today we are going to do the A to Z book tag. Wasn't tagged in it, I'm gonna do it anyway. So, yeah, let's get started. The author I read the most is probably Jim Butcher. I've read all 15 of the books in the Dresden Files, along with 1 or 2 of the side stories. I've read 2 of Codex Alora, and I read The Aeronauts Windlass. The next would probably be Dean Koontz, but I'm gonna go with Jim Butcher. Yeah. The best sequel ever, I'm going to have to go with Winter. I really enjoyed the character. I enjoyed her psychosis. I enjoy that she is portrayed kind of as the bad guy, but she's not, and how strong she is and how much willpower she has, and that's fantastic to me. So I'm going to go with Winter for that one. C is what I'm currently reading. I'm currently reading 2 books. I am reading Fangirl by Danielle James and P. Maturin. I won this from a book event that I was involved in, so I'm finally getting in it, and so far so good. I'm about 10% in. And the second book I'm reading, actually I'm reading 3 books. The second book I'm reading is The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. You've all heard that. That was on my TBR. And the third book I'm reading is Lady of the Night by Ray Barden. Tea. Yeah. Tea, water, maybe Diet Pepsi, but honestly there's nothing like a nice warm mug of tea in... Do I have it? I do. In your lovely mug given to you by your lovely friend. Look. I love it. Go right there. But I prefer hot tea, honestly, if I'm reading. I am going to go with physical book. I like the aesthetic of it. I like feeling the book. I like being able to bookmark it and like be able to show like, oh, you're reading. This is a lot more obvious than looking at your phone. Plus, if I have my phone out, I'm gonna go on Facebook, I'm gonna get notifications, I'm gonna see things. I do have a Kindle, but I use my Kindle or my phone when I'm like out. Like I was reading a little bit today while I was in the car because it was dark, so I was using my phone, but usually I prefer paperback. I can't think of a character I would have dated in high school. I honestly don't know. Like most of the boys that are in young adult books are weird. No. Wait. No. Who would I date? I don't know. I'm really picky. So, and there isn't anybody that screams, "This is a perfect match for you, Nikki." So, I don't know. I'm gonna skip this one. A book I'm really glad I gave a chance to was Gone Girl. Originally I didn't know anything about Gone Girl. My friend suggested it, and I started reading it, and I got about halfway through, and I was so annoyed with it. I was just like, what the hell is going on? How do people like this book? The characters were annoying me. I couldn't vote for either one. I was mad at the main male characters, mad at the main female character, because I'm like, this is bullshit. There's no way in hell that you would be okay with this. But then the middle happened, and I couldn't put it down for the rest of it. So I'm really glad I finished it and pushed through because it was phenomenal. So good. And I didn't expect it. That's what's even more amazing. The ending though. The ending, I wanted to strangle someone. A hidden gem is, I'm gonna go with The Redwood Rebel by Lorna George. Lorna Davidson now. The Redwood Rebel was self-published and is now going to be published by the Dragon's Rocket Ship later, but that book is so good. It made me cry. The writing is fantastic. The main character is kick-ass and stubborn and just pushy and just like, I will take on this world, fuck everyone else, I'm gonna do it on my own, I don't care. And she's just so strong for going through what she did and surviving and then succeeding at life. So that book, honestly, that book was amazing. If you haven't read it, you need to. And I don't think it's currently available, but it will be in the future. So when it's available again, you need to read it because it's so good. An important moment for me, I gotta say it was high school, because I always loved reading, but in high school we all go through that phase where we kind of feel out of place and we feel like we need an escape, and reading was that escape for me. So that is when I started to read thrillers. It's when I started to learn about characters and learn about writing and learn about all these massive worlds of crazy, and I learned that it's okay to feel that way. And then as I got older, I learned, which I think my next biggest moment is when I started the Dragon's Rocket Ship, not the publishing company, the group, because that's when I learned that other people are just like me in the sense of escapism. And some of the people I've met are phenomenal, and they write so well, and the worlds that they create are just so good. So yeah, those have got to be the two. I just finished two books. I finished a Star Trek book, The Next Generation Cold Equations, book 1 by David Mack, and Finders Keepers by Stephen King on audiobook. Some of the books that I won't read, I usually tend to stay away from sci-fi. Not because, like, I like Star Trek sci-fi and some Doctor Who sci-fi, but most sci-fi, like hardcore sci-fi, I get lost in it. Like, there's not enough, there's too much going on that's unexplained. I think the reason why I like Star Trek sci-fi is because I've seen the TV show, so you see some of those things, so they can be kind of reality, so I can see them in my head. The other thing I usually avoid is high fantasy. Again, high fantasy is like, it's too far out of my comfort zone, it's too far out in the realm, and I think that's why I haven't finished Lord of the Rings yet. And the other one that I tend to avoid, and I don't know why, I think it's just because it's challenging, it's classics. Classics are a difficult read, it's a different time period, it's different writing styles. The books might be great, but if I don't understand what's happening, I'm gonna not want to read it, and I understand that that's not great, but I went to college, I read enough textbooks of stuff I don't understand without needing to throw in some books when I'm trying to just de-stress and forget what my work day was. That's what I want to do, is just read. And I want to read something fun and whimsy and fantastical. Or horrifying. I don't know, I do thrillers. Thrillers are cool. The longest book. 800 pages, I think. I want to say. I read Aeronauts Windlass isn't 800, it's like 600. 800, let me see, hold on. $979. Stone of Tears, book 2 of the Terry Goodkind series. I believe this is the longest book I've read. Pretty sure. A major book hangover. It wasn't... Okay, so book hangovers are usually because you loved the world so much. Mine was actually from Mistborn. It wasn't because I loved the world, it was because I couldn't get into it. I couldn't get into the paperback version. I'm going to try the audiobook while multitasking, and I might be able to get through it that way. I want to give it a shot. There have been other books that have been like that, but I didn't read for like 2 or 3 months after that, and it killed me. Like, I ended up having to pick up Mercy Thompson again. I should have done that a lot sooner, but like 2 months later, I'm like, just reread Mercy Thompson, you'll love it, it'll get you back into the reading thing, and it did. Currently, I own 4 bookcases. I own a big 4x4 over here. I own this bookcase here. I own the one behind me, and there's a built-in one in the living room. I reread the Dresden Files a few times, like the entire series, so I'm gonna go with the entire series of the Dresden Files. I think I've read that 3 or 4 times, and I reread Mercy Thompson 3 times. I like to read in a chair in my living room, or in the chair right here in my bedroom. I cannot lay down and read because I will fall asleep, and I can't read outside because if I get hot then I'll get grumpy, and I need to be able to be comfortable, mostly because of back pain, but usually a chair with my legs kicked up and a puppy on my lap and tea in my hand. I'm really bad with quotes, so I don't know. Don't have a quote. A reading regret I would have would probably be allowing people's judgment of me decide what books I read. I have just slowly started getting over the ability to care about what people think of me. So now that I'm almost 29, there's this stigma that I shouldn't be reading young adult books because I'm not a young adult. I shouldn't be reading new age books. But like, I don't care. Like, I want to read what I want to read, and if I enjoy the series, I'll enjoy the series. Some books I like might have erotica in them, some books I like might be young adult, some books I like might be middle grade, some might be thriller or adult or whatever. So I think that would honestly be the biggest one. And also, there were some books I didn't get into because of the hype of them, and while some of those still stand true and I'm glad I didn't read them, like the Twilight series, City of Bones, or the Moral Instrument series, like, I feel bad that I never got into Harry Potter when I was younger and I missed that train, and I'm reading it now really slowly, but it doesn't have the same excitement, I guess, that it would have had if I was reading it with my friends when I was younger. There are so many series I need to finish. Okay, let's think. I think all the books are out for the finishing school series I need to read. I don't know if all the books are out, but I need to finish reading Mercy Thompson. I need to finish reading Harry Potter. The Ruby Red trilogy, though, I don't know if I want to. I only have one more book, but I don't know if I want to. Aragon, or Aragon, however you say that. I can't think of anything else. I mean, there's tons of series that I haven't finished, but I just can't think of them off the top of my head that I have to finish, like, today. There's some that I haven't started that I want to start, but I don't own them yet, or I can't find them, and I have to get them online, and I'm trying to not buy more books, so, yeah. Three of my all-time favorite books. Okay. So I already mentioned the Dresden Files, so I'm not going to mention them again. But we have Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, the entire series. We have the Lunar Chronicle trilogy, the entire series. And we have Book Thief. This is the newest edition. This book is so good. I cried so hard. I was reading, oh my god, I was reading it during a readathon, and I finished it in like 48 hours. It was the first one I read. I was so excited because I'm like, yes, you got the biggest book done. I couldn't continue reading it because I was just like bawling my eyes out from that book. It was so sad. You guys have to read it if you haven't read it. I am so late on the train. It's been out for 10 years. I'm so late, but it was so good. I am unapologetic fangirl for these series. All of these. The ones I just mentioned. Dresden Files, the Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, the Lunar Chronicle series. Those three, unapologetic, that I am absolutely obsessed with them. The Dresden Files, I will pimp out to everybody. If you haven't read them, read them. I don't have the entire series right now. I am slowly working my way towards owning all of them. I cannot wait for Peace Talks, for the 16th book in the Dresden Files series. I need it. I need to read all of the books again, and I need to read that one. Like, I think it's hilarious. Okay, so really quick. So, my best friend really loves Terry Goodkind. She really, really loves Wizard's First Rule. So she has read that entire series, which I think there's 12, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. And I always joke around with her, like, why would you do that? That's absurd. And I want to read the Dresden Files again, because book 16 is coming out next year, hopefully. And I'm just like, okay, I get it. And then now I understand why people wait for a series to be over before they start them. You want me to do what? 27 books? Hold on. This was the 27th book, I think. My shelf over here is all messy, but this was the 27th one. Grimm's Complete Fairy Tales. I need to read these because they're so good. My latest book purchase was Heartless by Marissa Meyer. I can't wait to get into that book. I'm so excited. The last book that kept me up way too late was my last read. I was up to like 2 reading it. I go to bed at 11, so I read this from like 5 until 2 so I could finish it. Yeah. So that's the end of the A to Z book tag. I hope you had fun watching it. I had fun making it. And pardon my editing skills, I'm still getting used to the cutscenes thing. So if you liked it, like it. If you love it, sub it, as the sorry girls say. I hope they didn't trademark that. But yeah, subscribe if you like it, and give me a like or a thumbs up, and give a comment down below. Answer some of the questions for you. What's the latest book you read? What's the book that you most look forward to? Is there a book that I mentioned that you're obsessed with or can't stand? Let me know down below, and I like to chat with people. So, this is the Dragon Queen, signing off.